could tell from all these videos, I'm pretty open about the fact that I have an ostomy. I love answering people's questions and I love sharing my ostomy story. However, others may not feel as comfortable talking about their ostomy as I am. And there's no right or wrong. If you want to tell people about your ostomy, then you tell them. If you don't want to tell anyone about your ostomy, then don't tell anyone. It's totally up to you and what you feel comfortable with. However, if you do want to tell people about your ostomy, it can sometimes be difficult to kind of work it into the conversation. So hopefully this video will give you some ideas on how to approach the subject. Now I just want to point out these are just some ideas that I've thought up of over the years, and they may work, they may not work. You know your friends and family better than I do, so if you think that the sort of thing will sort of help you explain it to your friends, then feel free to use it. This one is my favourite, and I often find it the easiest to kind of work it into general conversation. It's particularly good if you're out at a restaurant, and even better if you're looking through a menu. Here's how the conversation might go. Oh, that's a shame, it's served with mushrooms. Oh, are you allergic to mushrooms? No, but I've got an ostomy and there's certain foods that I have to be a bit careful of. It's just a nice way to bring up the subject in conversation, although if you're having dinner with someone, probably don't go into too much detail over, you know, intestines and blockages and all that kind of stuff. This is a good one for if you're out clothes shopping with friends and you're in the change rooms and you want their opinion on an outfit. Here's how the conversation might go. What do you think of this outfit? Yeah, it really suits you. Cool, although can you tell I'm wearing an ostomy bag? Again, this is a good way to get it into the conversation, but just bear in mind that if there's lots of cubicles in the changing rooms, that someone might be listening to your conversation. So if you're a bit nervous about other people hearing you, probably not the best technique. This is a good one if either yourself or your friend is really into fitness. Of course, in reality, if you're really careful, you can actually do sit-ups with an ostomy, but they don't need to know that. It's just a way of kind of getting it into the conversation. Here's how the conversation might go. Oh, I'm trying to get into shape, it's just that I can't find any workouts that aren't just sit-ups. Oh, why can't you do sit-ups? Well, I had ostomy surgery, so I just have to be careful about, you know, anything that strains the abdomen. Like I say, in reality, you actually can do sit-ups with an ostomy, just be careful. And in fact, if they're really into their fitness, they might be able to suggest some workouts that are good for, you know, getting a really good burn, but are a bit easier on the abdomen. This one is a straight to the point, no fuss, just saying it like it is. Here's how the conversation might go. Guess what? What? I have an ostomy. Now, this depends on the person that you're telling as to whether this will be successful, because it could be that they're a bit freaked out. So it's probably good for someone with a strong stomach and a good sense of humour, who isn't going to be offended that you tell them in a kind of, not a jokey way, but in a kind of light-hearted way, because some people prefer that. Some people prefer a bit of humour because it kind of breaks the tension, whereas some people prefer really serious and they want to know all the facts and blah, blah, blah. So again, it depends on who you're telling. All of these techniques are kind of open-ended, so it means that it leaves the person that you're telling the option to either carry on the conversation so they can ask you more questions, or they can, you know, if they're feeling a bit uncomfortable, they can just completely change the subject and move on. The important thing to remember is that everyone is different and people will react in different ways. Some people will want to know everything. Some people will ask you questions. Some people will want the highlights, so they'll just kind of want to know like the very kind of like a summary of what happened, but no details. And some people might just not want to know at all. It's not a reflection on you, it's just their personal preference that they just might not want to know about that side of your life. Whatever decision you make, whether you decide to tell people or not, it's totally up to you. Don't ever feel pressured. Just, you know, if you feel like you want to maybe just tell one friend rather than a whole group of friends, do that instead. Don't ever feel as though there's a right or wrong way to do it. It's, you know, everyone is different. It's such an individual thing, and yes, I tell everyone, you know, I tell the world that I have an ostomy and, you know, all the ins and outs, and I tell everyone about problems that I'm having or, you know, successes that I'm having, and it's, you know, that's just what I do. But some ostomates might not want to share all that, and it's like I say, it's totally up to you whether you want to tell your friends and family about it. If you feel as though you can't talk to your friends about it but you need someone to talk to, There are so many people that you can reach out to. There's obviously your stoma nurse or your healthcare professional, you know, a GP or a consultant, which are especially good for not just the practical side of things, but, you know, on a general well-being. You know, they are there for you to talk to and get advice from, and just, you know, don't feel as though you can't approach them, because of course they are there for you. That's what they're there for. Plus, they would have seen all the ups and downs of lots of different patients, so they'll have a wide kind of knowledge base. So you're pretty sure that if you have a question, a stoma nurse can probably answer it. Plus, don't forget there is a huge community of ostomates out there, ranging from, you know, ileostomates, colostomates, urostomates. We're all out there, myself included. But there are, you know, there's Facebook groups, there's Twitter, there's message boards, discussion forums, there's YouTube. There are a lot of people out there on social media who are happy to talk about not just their story, but to hear from you and to encourage you to share your story. So if you are, you know, unsure of something, if you need advice, if you just want to talk to someone, there's a whole community out there, and, you know, they have such a good knowledge base because they've been through it. You know, a lot of the time they have possibly been through the same problems that you might be having, and it's just nice to bounce a few ideas off. I hope you found this video useful, and don't forget you are not alone. There's always someone there for you.